Fucking epic failure. Sound guy's fired, folks. Patrick Reporter here, better known as Rip, my man, right here. Jim Pilla, the former Notre Dame alumni. Welcome back to Basement Chat. Apologize when you come in with any music. Our sound guy apparently was watching Brazzers too long.
Welcome, everybody. It's good to be here doing the Basement Chat tonight. For those of you who tuned in for the Hit and Sit podcast, or
Wasting your time.
The Siteman Show, or what's that other show, Rip?
My boy Magnus.
Yes,
my
dude. Show. Sorry to disappoint, but this is Basement Chat. It's the original. In my opinion, it's number one. I'm sure Rip would agree. We're coming to you guys live here from the Jersey Shore. So just some thoughts to those who are in the way of the hurricane. Hope everybody, all my friends at the USSSA office are safe and everybody is ready for that clean and sober tournament.
Except the guy in charge of the concession stand, Jim. $3. Free chicken fingers for $12. Fuck that guy. I hope his house got knocked over. Let's rock and roll.
Double checking that, but I'll tell you, Rip, those breakfast tacos they have are very, very good.
Yeah, great. So, 1 out of 20 ain't bad.
We've got a lot to talk about, guys and girls, tonight on the Basement Chat. As we advertised, our agenda will include a recap, Rip, of all the world tournaments. You were down there for quite a few of them.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yes, we had some winners. We had some really, really good performances out of New Jersey. We're going to announce later on the Challenge Cup managers for New Jersey.
We can have people cry about that.
Yes, we certainly can. We will have a little discussion of the famous bump list.
That's the bringer of all tears, Jimmy.
Yes.
The bump list followed by the I want to appeal.
Well,
tough shit.
My good friend Sean Melvin, I hope he's watching it out in California. He pulled a sneak attack on us directors this week, posting that bump list, and we just weren't aware of it.
Way to make sure they're paying attention, Sean. Best intern I ever had.
Sean, I appreciate you. And then we'll have a little Q&A. We'll be trying to follow the chat. We do have some questions written down from our audience.
Jim will follow the chat. I'll just give you the right answer.
Let's send them in. So, Rip, let's start with a program that's near and dear to your heart. Week 1 of the Worlds, we had some amazing competition in the Women's Major World Series. Tell me your thoughts on that.
It's the best of the best. It's what they should be trying to get on TV. This game, not the men, it's the women.
Yep.
It's a better game all around, my opinion. You have power hitters, you have great defense, you have very good pitchers, you have a more exciting game. I understand that some of these people are a little bit think differently because their ego's getting away, but in reality, I think the women's game's a better game, in my opinion. Shout out to the girls and Derby girls, especially my girl Mandy Holman, my people MVP, Higgy, a couple other girls that I know over there that also made all world. Congratulations to them. Hell of a job.
Yeah, and people that didn't have a chance to follow that Women's Major World Series, you were missing out. There was some really great competition. Like Rip said, Mandy Holman was voted MVP. She was hitting the bejesus out of the ball in that championship game.
Yeah, she really came through for her team when they needed her for sure. The biggest shock, I think, the whole team, right, is the whole world seen Team 24's quest for 5 not happen.
Yeah, Rip, all good things must come to an end.
Yeah, yeah. Like your running career in Notre Dame.
Yeah, that. And, we won't get into some of the things on your end that have come to an end. But
parole ended quite some time ago.
We'll save that for the pre-show here. As far as the tournament, Rip, I thought that Classic Glass on the women's side had a really super tournament. They were not a team that people had picked to go in, and lo and behold, there they are on the championship game.
If you polled everybody in their top 3 in the tournament, I don't think pretty much anybody outside of the people who play on Classic Glass or sponsor Classic Glass would have picked Classic Glass. It's just a reality. When you have Team 24, Lady S&I, Tommy from La Familia in the major division, you got the Traders Reloaded Clutch situation over there. That team as well. So I don't think anybody really picked Classic Glass. However, they, to me, overall, shocked everybody. They came out, they played both sides exceptionally well. They hit it, they had timely hitting, whether it be base hits or homers. They had a little bit of everything from everybody and played some excellent defense as well.
Yeah, and they're picking up Ted Carter, who's returning back to the women's game next year to coach Rip. And I know a few of the girls that have played for Ted will be joining Classic next year. So
yeah, Randy Kreider's going over there, Andy Reardon.
A few others from that former
I want to think of the other guys.
Former Lobob's team.
Well, Kelly Cash will be back there again, right?
Kelly Cash.
Ted Carter's a great guy, hell of a coach. It's my man, Ted, right there.
Yeah, so we wish Classic a lot of success next year.
Right.
Also, Lady S&I, Rip, we have to shout out Bernadette Tenuto, who's one of our New Jersey players that plays in the women's conference. You know Bernadette, don't you?
Something like that.
Yeah. So Bernadette was all-world in the major worlds and selected all-conference, so congratulations to Aunt B. Also want to shout out Kylie Studioso, Rip, she was
absolutely murdering the ball.
She was
putting on a show, actually, is what she was doing.
Absolutely killing it. For those of you who didn't follow the women's major, Kylie was injured. during the event. He had already hit 7 or 8 home runs. Absolutely on fire, a first ballot all tournament selection. So our thoughts go out to Kylie. So
yeah, she'll have a speedy recovery here. She's in good hands. She's got a lot of really good people around her, an excellent support group at home, as well as her S&I team as well. The Naparata family cares near and deal about their players. So she'll have a lot of support in getting healthy. And I'm sure we'll see Kylie back at some. If I know Kylie, she'll be a little possessed during rehab. She'll be back probably ahead of schedule, knowing her.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, we talked about things coming to an end. Team 24 just didn't have the tournament that they were hoping for. La Familia also was looking to try to go 5 in a row. Moving up, that would have been something that would have been very notable.
If Tommy from La Familia would have won this World, that would have spoke volumes. Not that his program is bad, because it's not by any means in the imagination, no matter whether you like him or not. I happen to get along great with Tommy. But you have to respect what he's done with his program over there. If he would have came out this year and won the women's major, it would have been a giant, even more wow factor than him winning 4 in a row with 4 different divisions.
Oh, no, that makes sense. And I mean, they've traded the teams, and not all the girls have been up the ladder all the way. So I want to mention, Rip, 2 teams on the women's side that had great tournaments, both Extreme and Incognito winning in the A and the AA Worlds. 2 great programs that
absolutely,
maybe just aren't at the absolute top of the ladder like the Derbies and the SNIs, but really put it all together. Congratulations to Daryl and Nicole from Incognito and Extreme, all the girls from up in Minnesota.
Shout out to my girls from my Juneau girls, right? Lauren Thomas, Shelby Morris, and Maquilla Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
I believe Brittany Cox also made All-World down there as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. Congratulations to the whole entire program. I know Daryl's had a very prominent program on the BSC side of things. It's nice to see him get that big win on the USSSA side of things this year, winning the A World.
Correct. So the first week, again, we had also the men's A, men's AA, those tournaments leading into the men's major. We, Rip, definitely have to just stop and pay homage here to the MPT program for coming out on top that second week in the men's major. Seeing as we are here in the belly of the
It's been
beast.
a long time coming, Jim, for sponsor Mark Carucci. Has been involved in the game for quite some time. It's been a long time coming. I know it's always something he's always worked for and built for. So it's nice to have that happen here and bring that trophy back here with that #1 on the first place placard, buddy. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, Rip, it had to be a special night for you. I believe it was your birthday.
Yeah.
Watching, Mark get sprayed with that champagne there from Flip and Pinkham and those guys, Big John.
Yeah, it was a good time all around. It was kind of funny. We ran off, I think, 3 birthdays. As a matter of fact, we ran off 3 birthdays in a row for the 3 days we played, and it turned out wins all around the house. So that's not too bad. So we'll have it back again.
Yep, and
trying to adjust the schedule to fit the birthdays again for 2023.
While Basement Chat is primarily a program talking about New Jersey softball, we certainly follow the conference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the men's major in general. I mean, there were some upsets. And
I'll be honest, the big shock to me, I thought, was Rosmondo's early exit. That was a shock to me. I don't think they made the adjustments necessary when everybody found out the balls were absolutely like hitting fresh mozzarella. And I think the teams that made the adjustments were there in the end. I think teams also came out a little flat in certain areas. That cost them. It was just a weekend where you had to be on top of your game for 7 innings. And I know the scores weren't 33-25 or whatever it is, but the lower scoring games, they were still high intensity games. Being involved in them, coaching with Mark, I could tell you for a fact that's exactly how they were. And at the end of the day, the best defense and the best pitching and timely adjusted hitting is what won the tournament. And that goes to NPT, who made the adjustments immediately.
Yep, there you go. A big shout out to a lot of those. Now, Mike DeRose is saying that we're not in the basement here. He's holding the episode of the protest.
They're still waiting for a phone call back. Then you can tell me where I'm at.
Yeah, he's also talking about some fresh mutts and chicken cutlets and things like that. So I don't know where his head is at.
Right after my own heart.
You know what I mean? But I thought the highlight, besides MPT winning, Resmondo and Smash had a great game. Decided by a ball literally going over.
That was nuts.
For those of you who didn't see it, a ball was literally in the outfielder's glove, and the glove and the ball right over the fence.
Hit the wall and lost the ball.
So
the ball, the glove, the game.
That's right.
Boop, bop, bop.
So we'll have to see. For those of you who follow the conference program, the schedule will be out next week at our national meeting.
Listen, shout out to the competitive edge. Let's not lose sight of what they did all weekend. I mean, they were there for a week, right? They played the AA, won that, and then came through and right up in the finals of the major. I mean, some people have bitched all year that they should have been probably the 5th major team.
Right.
But the reality is they were where they were. And hats off to that whole entire crew led by a guy who I think is a great player and a great leader, is Jason Branch.
Sure.
And it doesn't hurt when you have the conference leading home run hitter on your team, as well as the Rookie of the Year, and Joe Boland. Right. So you have Tyler Irvine, as I alluded to, was the home run king this year. I mean, hats off to that whole entire crew. Mark Patterson, Brandon Miller, and them guys. Hell of a job.
Yeah, and we have a quote in the Matt Coffin's asking if that person needs a new glove. I'm pretty sure that they've replaced it by now, but you never know. You never know.
Hit my man Matty over at Ignite for a minute.
So let's move on, Rip. Week 2, we also had some great competition. I was out myself at the quads with Mr. Yamashita. We were watching some great men's and women's C and women's D. Men's C, Anarchy, taking it out of California, but more closer to home, Rip, Chosen, with a really great tournament.
Yeah, it was a hell of a run by Joe DeGennaro's group over there. The Chosen guys. Got Paulie Mentz was offensive MVP. Tyler Bakunis, all-world selection. And I tell you, big shout-out to their guy who's been around for a while, pitching on the bump for them, Buddha, John Petrillo.
I got to tell you, I mean, watching Petrillo pitch Buddha in that tournament, I mean, he literally gave every single bit of effort and everything he had in his body, his soul. He was pitching his ass off. I want to congratulate everybody from Chosen.
He's always done that. It was nice to see him do it on the bigger stage. John's been around a little bit at the lower levels for a long time.
Sure.
Got an opportunity this year at C for a long time, in a while since he's been up there, if I'm not mistaken, and did a hell of a job. I mean, he, like you said, he was out there fighting with every stitch of being that he had in him and went ahead and got them there where they were.
He got them there, and Paulie Mentz, I mean, was just literally spraying the ball left. He was spraying the ball right. I mean, I don't think he made more than 2 outs, Paulie.
I mean, Paulie's one of those guys. He's a local guy. Obviously, he's a Jersey kid. But Paulie's one of those guys I think always had the talent to play at a higher level. Now, whether work or whatever home life prevents him from doing that, and maybe just hasn't gotten seen. But Paulie's one of those guys who definitely would deserve an opportunity at that level.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a few other guys on Chosen. But from what I'm understanding, they're coming back with a B team next year.
Well, they don't got a lot of choices. We'll see the bump or all the players are bumped. I mean, bump.
Well, we'll get to the bump list in just a second, but it should be an exciting year for the BC program in New Jersey. I mean, John Brandt always has some great tournaments up in Connecticut. We have a few teams that'll be moving up. We'll talk about those later in the program. From the New Jersey side, MPT Judo and Forest Painting.
They paid their entry fees.
Yes.
Stayed in Broward County. Appreciate you coming down.
They paid their entry fees. They participated.
Struggled a little bit, Jim. Didn't make the adjustments. We want to tell you. You got a game of adjustments at that level. You got to be able to adjust inning per inning, batter per batter, and just didn't make the adjustments.
Yeah, and those are two teams that, it wouldn't have surprised me if they went into the Final Four. It wouldn't surprise me at 0-2. So both of those teams hopefully be back with more C teams in state to play next year. We had some really strong women's C and women's D competition. Lady HDI winning the women's C. Out of Virginia. They won the D the year before. That's Christine Fries and that team.
Congratulations.
In the women's D, Silent Assassins came out of nowhere in my book and, just
lived up to the name.
Plowed through the women's D program. Hats off to the girls from Silent Assassins. Want to shout out Lady Inferno, who came in second with
Zielinski's crew.
Yeah, that's a
Inferno
team
Sports
that played heavily in New Jersey this year, as well as some other states. Lauren Rizzo did a great job pitching them right into the championship game. I think Lindsay Nadolny was all-world as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So shout out to Lady Inferno, Bill, and the group. They did a great job. So, again, a really strong week in week 2. Moving on to week 3, the men's E-World Tournament. We had about 130 teams, Rip. The champions were from Georgia.
No shot. Then they were also won last year's team from Georgia, wasn't it?
It's something like that.
I don't know. I just know Georgia's got a new state director.
There's a new sheriff in town down
the
there.
Vanilla Gorilla.
That's right. They're the one and
so
only.
Shout out to Jason Magnan. Congratulations to him on his appointment as a Georgia State's slow pitch director.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll be scrutinizing things a little tougher down there as J Mags holds everybody to the letter of the law. I can tell you that.
Well, J Mags also has, I'm not remembering the young man's name, but the assistant state director comes very highly recommended that they brought in. So J Mags, I think, will be doing some great things in Georgia. I'm looking forward to seeing how they work. But I will say, though, the boys from One World, the team that won the E, looked like an E team to me. They were playing their behinds off, and the emotion that they had, Rip, on Championship Sunday was absolutely second to none.
Listen, you should be happy. You won a world title in the best association you could win it in. I mean, let's be realistic.
You don't always see that at the upper levels. I love watching the upper ball, but a lot of those people have won countless.
Jim, I'm going to tell you, we celebrated like it was no one's business.
That's right. That's right. Mark McCarson has said hello. That's somebody who knows how to celebrate.
That's a big guy's rule.
Yeah. Want to shout out some of the teams from New Jersey. This is primarily a New Jersey program or Eastern PA that did well. Hook Boys coming in tied for 5th. JVA Sports from New Jersey came in tied for 7th.
7-2.
They
Your money's worth, boys. Good job.
JVA certainly got their money's
Good
worth.
work.
They were hot as could be on the last day. South Jersey Outlaws tied for 17th. Softball is Life tied for 25th. Family First tied for 25th. So a lot of those teams, if not all of them, will be joining the D program next year, Rip. Should be an exciting year.
As well they should.
Should be an exciting year in New Jersey. In the men's D, Smoke from Florida won. We had another 130 teams down there. Rip, I really I have to congratulate James Palazzi and the Dogs. Who
right. I want to congratulate James for two things: being the second best player in his relationship, and a hell of a job and a hell of a run down there by them guys.
Yes, James and the guys. I know Eric Smith couldn't make it down there; he had some family things, but Adam Pachatikin, those guys from Dogs.
No, they did a great job. Then all kidding around aside, they should that's a really good.
To
run,
make
man.
championship Sunday, with 130 teams being that Final Four. I mean, they picked up Ed Conray to pitch. Smitty couldn't go. Conray pitched incredible. You know, they were
he
knocking.
hits it too, Ed. Ed whacks it, man.
He was whacking it all around the yard. But you know, a big shout out to Dogs making the Final Four. Billy Sampolsky's deluxe part of that group too. So congratulations to them. Marlboro won, Rip.
Ed Franken and Frank
tied for 5th. Yeah. Marlboro One is a team with all guys that play in the Marlboro League, and they're going to be a C team next year.
I think they're going to have their best year next year because they'll have a couple of guys who'll be able to swing a little more freely.
Correct.
They have a ton of talent, and they're getting better each year. I think next year will be a big coming out for them. I like that team a lot. They do play exceptionally well together. A bunch of dudes who know each other real well, obviously.
The pitcher's great.
And they play together. Pitcher's going to be somebody to reckon with. You know, I don't know how old or how young he is, but he's actually getting better every time he throws the rubber.
Ortiz. I would say Marlboro One may fit the best at sea. I had a chance to watch them play in Ocean City over Memorial Day on the live stream, and they
Shout out to the Hollands.
Yeah, I don't know if Carol and Bob are watching tonight.
No, Bob's probably in bed. He's getting old.
He probably is in bed. I can tell you that Pudge is watching because I can see him in the commentary.
That's my man right there too.
He's like an extension of the Holland family.
Well, he's probably related, like kinfolk of some sort. But Pudge is a good dude.
Something like Pudge is an exceptional umpire too. So in any case, in the men's D, shout out to Marlboro One. Diamond Dynasty, Rip. I don't know how to really describe this, but they lost the first round of the tournament and then just motored back. And they won about 8 straight.
That's a shout out to the guys on the team. Let's be realistic about it, right? You lose your first game, you're like, oh shit, we're in trouble. There's 130 teams down here. What are we gonna do? Well, they just said let's just bear down and get after it. And they fought and they gritted out 8 straight wins.
Well, it took them a little while. I did see Brandon Otero in the parking lot trying to change his flight after the first loss, but Rich and Leo were able to kind of get everybody back on track there. So
good job out of those gentlemen. That's listen, 8 straight wins after you lose your first one. That's good work, man.
Central Jersey Elite, Rip, won their first 4 games. Yeah, the other Palazzi was Palazzi on Palazzi. Central Jersey Elite won their first 4 games. They were in the winner's bracket for quite a long time. I think this team has tremendous upside. Just to clear the air, because there were some questions. CJ is an auto bump team. They're in the top 10%. Tied for 13th is an auto bump. They will be joining the C program next year.
Oh, good for them.
And Rip,
C-ball shaping up out here.
I want to send a shout out to my man Jimmer. Jimmer Stick had a very nice showing in the tournament. I hope
they were doing well. Josh McConnell got his foot blown off by the Amish team.
That's right. McConnell, took one off the chin. But I mean,
stepping.
Jimmer's team was really struggling, Rip. At one point, I asked Jimmer, if we were in the right class, if his team should be in D. And
one weekend is all that matters.
He made me look like an idiot. I'll tell you that much. So
one weekend is all you need to be good for. One weekend.
Jimmer Stick and Pudge is shouting out the Diamond Dynasty guys in the chat. He's saying they won the GSL Worlds and he had a chance to umpire them. So Diamond Dynasty, all these guys, and then there were 2 teams, Rip, that I thought going into the weekend were going to be, the teams we were talking about, Evoli and Capriati's from Delaware. Both of those teams struggled and went 0-2. So anything can happen down there.
It's all about one weekend, Jim.
I totally understand. So
for them, it was about a donation to Broward County.
There you go. So we did have the co-ed worlds last week. A big shout out to Dream Crushers from Texas, Philip Wheeler's favorite team, taking the flag in the co-ed major. Some of the competitive edge guys.
Dreams.
Yeah, no, they play
Joe
pretty
Ball,
regularly.
Tyler Irvin, the Rookie of the Year in the Women's Conference, I believe, played with them too. Tyler Sills team.
Yes.
She murders the ball.
And Ashley Whaley had a good tournament for them, too.
Another good ball player.
A little that I saw.
Another good ball player.
That Dream Crushers team, I would put up against quite a few of the teams. Carlson Curse gave them all they can handle in the finals. But
is that a law firm?
No, it's a player named Carlson.
Okay.
It's Julie Manganaro was the offensive tournament MVP. So that team.
My homegirl Sutton Kemp was on that team.
Yes. So
she's going to be a good one, too. But
mixed major.
keep an eye on her.
Had some great competition. In the mixed C, Hoosier Outlaws from Indiana won. Rip, I have
not to be confused with Who's Your Daddy.
No, not Who's Your Daddy. Hoosier Outlaws with the win. I have to hats off here. Juno hat, of course, to East Coast Toyota. That's the AMC Elite Group.
The French guy, Jean Labou.
Jean Labou. From
I think he should coach a hockey team. You know what I mean?
From France. John Labou.
Just in from ESPN, new head coach of the New Jersey Devils. Jean Labou.
The co-ed is a 3-game guarantee, and they lost the first 2 games, Rip. They
the old wraparound will get you.
Yeah, they
snuck their way right back up there to the 3rd place win.
They stunk in the start of the tournament, and
it ain't how you start, Jim. It's how you finish.
So they had a really nice tournament. Pecunis again, we talked about him. Zach Gonzalez was all world for them. Sam Shockey and Angela Mayoran were their all world picks. So good tournament from them. Congratulations. In the mixed D, we had Torqued Up from Pittsburgh taking the title. But Rip, we have to really talk to the group about the 3rd place finisher, which is Glory Days from Long Island.
Glory Days. Oh, Bruce Springsteen song. I hate that guy. He's a real piece of shit.
But
anyway, it's not about him. Bruce is a bum. Let's talk about Glory Days, right?
So, yeah.
Tell them how it started for them, Jim.
So
not good, by the way, folks. Actually, very sad.
Unfortunately, Glory Days is a mixed D team from Long Island, for those of you who aren't aware. They got off the plane, got their rental van, and had high hopes for the tournament, and then were engaged in an absolutely brutal car accident.
Correct.
Which put about 5 of their players in the hospital and a few others unable to play. So there was a lot of emotions there. They were able to pick up some hardship ads on Friday night. Just literally, scrapping the team together on the way over to the Space Coast.
Hats off to them. You think about the emotional impact that has. Forget about anything else that goes on. Just the emotional impact of your friends getting hurt. And then you have to go out and fulfill yourself and play the tournament. And you're like, man, your brain's all over the place. And your focus ain't there. You're worried about what's going on with everybody else. And, shout out to them to make it happen until Sunday morning in the third place game. And still coming out. Shout out to them big time. That's crazy.
They did really good. So
I wish everybody speedy recovery. It's lost for words. I apologize, but it wasn't a good one. That's for sure.
We have somebody in the chat asking if Glory Days cannot be bumped up to the Mixed C program. That's, almost takes a little bit away from the talk we've had here on Glory Days. No, the 3 teams will be moved up to the Mixed C level next year. But Glory Days, a big shout out to them, Sess and that whole group. I hope Rich Pescator and the 2 guys with the serious injuries are doing well. Exactly. Really a weekend to remember, an amazing story to make Sunday. From the New Jersey side, Garden State side, Softball is Life Elite was in the top 10. Diamond Dynasty was down there. Neither team touching the Final Four. In the mixed E-Rip, some of the people you know very well, Triborough Scaffolding coming in 3rd.
Hollywood's group. Hollywood, Randy Grove, my boy Randy.
You were Palmer.
And Palmer was out there. I thought Palmer was on the bump. I thought I saw Palmer pitching.
Palmer was pitching. Lauren Valentine and Hollywood were picked to the all-tournament.
Congratulations.
It was
great job, Hollywood.
Triborough Scaffolding, a group that's really tight. They just like family. They hang out. They play league together. All friends. Play hard for each other. Great to see them, coming up on the stage there at the end, coming in 3rd. So from the Garden State, we had some really good participation in the Mixed E and teams that did well. Sean Keating's Debbie's Angels team, Tim Keller's Goonies team, and Rich and Christina's Booze Bombers team, all playing well. New York Tribe also down there. So, Ripper, we had said that we would go over the bump list with everybody. So, some of the teams that are on the bump list are teams that came in the top 10% in either U-Trip or GSL Worlds. Okay. I can tell you that the list was just published. A lot of the teams in our area that were bumped were top 10% teams, but let's go over it. So men's C.
Let the crying commence.
Men's C to B, and of course, as we know, the player appeals will be opening up January 1st. So if somebody wants to put in an appeal, whether it's legitimate or not, January 1st, you're going into USSSA.com/login. Okay, Rip, we can do that for you. I'm sure you'll be denied quickly. You
think about appeals.
Hit the appeal button, and it comes through.
Appeals.
As far as the teams,
I want to play lower than where I was, mommy.
right? We have a question here, Rip. Are you gonna run a women's major team?
Run a women's major team? No, but you will see me very frequently in the women's side.
Okay, that's Danielle Hall is asking. Maybe she was hoping to be selected for your women's team, which is not happening. So, back to the bump list. Men's C to B. Actually, Rip, I left somebody off here. Chosen is C to B, and Paint Doctor is C to B. So, we do have two.
I think Paint Doctors will be fine up there too, man.
Well, Cheddar has pitched at all levels.
Yeah, and they got Junior Smith too, right?
Junior will be there. I'm sure that
Junior's another guy who's long in the tooth, a lot of experience, a lot of wins.
I'm sure that they will make a few other pickups. I mean, with Paint Doctor in B, I mean, their schedule's not changing too much. They'll be playing the same opens that Bob and that New Jersey has. So, Paint Doctor not scared of competition.
No, they're not.
Moved up from the.
I like that Paint Doctor team. You show up, you're like, oh, what's going on? Whack, boom, you're down 20.
Well, yeah, I mean they hit it.
They did it well.
That GSL Worlds in Salisbury, they had a very nice win, and
is that the one where he was crying over the balls?
But yeah, with the Vietnam.
A lot of wet balls this year, with a lot of tears on.
The Vietnam balls we had there,
Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah, what a shame.
Yeah, Italian balls, if you're interested in those. Go ahead.
Men's D to C, Diamond Dynasty, Dogs, CJ Elite, Marlboro 1, Caps, and my buddy Bobby Zuber's Audi team from PA. Those teams will be.
So where I'm interested in hearing the D to C thing, Jim, is that these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams go ahead and participate in the C program, or if they, pardon the pun, bitch up like JSI did.
I'm not.
Just saying.
Going to go near that, Rip.
You don't have to. I have to go near it. I don't care.
What I think Rip is mentioning is that sometimes when the teams get bumped up to the higher level, they split up or focus on.
No, they run scared and they go to a different association because they don't like it. I should be here. I should be there. Instead of just manning up and understanding how the whole entire USSSA bylaws are set up, understanding, maybe pick up a book and read and see how it works out for you, where you can actually do a team appeal if your team struggles at that level. Not by throwing games, but by actually showing up to tournaments and playing, and then you can put in for a team appeal later on in the year. While individual appeals may not work, team appeals may work. So you don't have to be a sissy Mary Rufflepants and not give it a shot. Grow up.
I don't disagree at all, Rip. And I see Rich Villacrez is in the chat, and he's saying Diamond Dynasty.
I guarantee you they play C. If I know Rich and Leo, they're playing C.
And the Paint Doctor guys, they're talking about some of the guys we didn't mention. Calvin Butcher, Demetrius Morris, Ryan Ferguson.
Calvin Butcher's going to be a good one. His father still murders it at 55 and over. I see Calvin on the senior circuit sometimes whacking it all over the place. So if he's 1/10 of his dad, he's a good ball player.
No, I understand that. I'm just kind of looking in the chat here, and I see some of the teams. I know that there will be. I'm not sure if there'll be Dogs, but Eric Smith and those guys are definitely looking.
I hope they do, because
I
think what they did down at Worlds proves to those guys that they can play.
Yeah,
right? I know they had kind of a rough year. They got beat up a little bit here and there, but they got a good group of guys over there. It's just a matter of keeping them together and getting the experience. Smitty's a guy who's been around softball when he used to be able to run. That had to be 20 years ago. Scotty Farrell could probably correct me, but I mean, they got a good nucleus over there, and if they can add a guy or two here or there, or even just run back out the same team that was at Worlds that fought like animals, why not?
Yep.
Give it a shot.
And, men's E to D. Okay, we've got several. And it's some really good teams actually here. Just Chimneys, Hook Boys, GGC Bangers, NEA, JVA, Matute, Softball is Life. So we should have an equal number of teams moving from E to D to replace those that were moved D to C.
All we got to do is cancel out the E program, and I'll really be ecstatic.
Yeah, and I think Family First is moving up as well on their own.
They should. They've had 26 years in fucking E.
Yeah, they
if you ain't got it by now, guess what? Fold. You ain't getting it.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing you there. So we should have 6 or 7 E teams moving up to D. We'll see who the rising stars that are left behind in E are, but there are some teams that were first-year teams this year. Light Show, Legends, Louise and Jerry's had a whole new team.
Who?
There are some teams.
Ben and Jerry's?
Louise and Jerry's.
Oh, Louise.
There's some teams that are just a little.
I'm a little fat. I get excited when you mention ice cream.
Well, yeah, no, Rip, I hear you.
Although I'm a strawberry shortcake guy, I bet you never thought about that.
I did not think
you look like a Rocky Road kind of guy.
Well, I know you're a chocolate chip cookie kind of guy too, Rip.
Oh my God, you kidding me?
Yeah. So I'm more a cookies and cream milkshake kind of guy. But
all right, milkshake, bring all the guys to your yard. Let's roll.
Yeah, something like that. On the women's side, we had Lady Inferno. We talked about and Run Like the Wind from Long Island.
Right.
Those will be
like the wind right to the sea.
Those will be
great job.
Those would be bumps.
They'll both be fine in the C division, in
those
my opinion. I think they're good programs, and they'll continue to build on what they've done so far for sure.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
Ripper, I think a lot of the people will be happy here because
Jim, let me interrupt you for a second.
Anything.
In the next 10 days, how many emails do you think you're going to get about the appeal process?
785.
All right, I'm taking the over.
Okay.
We're taking Vegas Auctions. Give him Mark McCorson. He'll be the bookie. Him and I will run this together. Mark, make sure you get your pen and pad out. 785 is the number. We're going the over.
Yeah, the bump list was posted. I had a coach that I'm not going to name that literally called me, like 5 minutes after, to give me every single reason in the world why his team shouldn't be moved up.
Right.
And I just didn't really know what to say. I don't have the answers, but what I can tell you is
I told that guy at Quick Check the same thing. I said, listen, I didn't vote Democrat. My gas shouldn't go up. I should still be paying $2.30 a gallon.
That's right.
But what he said to me?
No.
Would that be filled up, sir, or you want to get out of line for the next guy?
Well, in all seriousness, the teams that get bumped, they come back. Like you said, they play. They have a chance to return. But the teams that split up, the guys that want to play, down forever, it's just not going to work. So, Rip, on a more positive note, for those of you who live under a rock and don't follow softball, the U.S. Challenge Cup is coming up at the start of 2023. Rip, if you want to tell everybody a little bit about the Challenge Cup before we start announcing the managers. But
the Challenge Cup is something Sturgeon Kennison came up with. The USSSA will be 4 years now. 4 years ago, which basically lets everybody inside their state represent their state, going down to Vieira in the beginning part of the year and see who's got the best state as far as softball. And then it's expanded now where some people felt so left out by the process that we had to add multiple teams per division. And while that's also increased the number of teams, it's also now separated weekends for a lot of people. So you may be able to entertain some different ideas for yourself if you're on the cusp of participating in different brackets such as co-ed and versus men's or women's versus co-ed.
We mentioned gambling, and Mike Lacey is blowing up the chat from LSR.
Yeah.
He wants to get involved.
3-1 odds I can get him thrown out again.
There you go, like in Chicago?
Oh, yeah. Talked him right into it.
That's right. So we got Lacey in the chat. Kylie Studioso.
Albeit he was right, by the way.
Yeah. Kylie Studioso. Nice to see you, Kylie.
I love that kid.
She's thanking you for the shout out. And Rich Pescator is on from Glory Days. And Rip, he wants you to know that he's glad that you don't play co-ed anymore. Because he doesn't want to play that ALC team. That's what he's saying there. So, Rich, you can see Rip play co-ed this Saturday. We'll be in Brick, New
Jersey. The only time Rip plays co-ed is for what a great cause to the Cavs tournament.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Near and dear to my heart. I love the tournament. I love what it represents and what it raises money for. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, in memory of
I'll play until I can't play.
A great friend of ours, Anthony Casallonis, who passed away approximately 10 years ago. So for the New Jersey softball community, the big tournament this week is in Brick. We've got the Cavs tournament. Hoping to see a lot of you there. We still have tournaments playing the next few weeks. We can get to that another time.
We just finished the Juneau Fall Brawl.
Rip, we had that double DHH format. I wasn't there. Tell me what you thought of it.
I thought it was. I think it's good. I think nobody has a clue about the rule, but once explained, the guys understood it right away, and it was totally fine.
Yeah.
I like the double. I like to listen. I'm a fan of the DHH rule. I think we should just probably institute it more regularly.
Yeah.
Into regular softball than as opposed to just the GSL. I know it's a GSL thing. I'm a big fan of the DHH rule, especially when you get down to the lower levels of softball. If you had just the DHH, you can get in the batter's box and whack it, plus 1 or 2 mistakes afterwards. It's not a bad idea.
But Rip, you're a power hitter. You're speaking, from personal experience.
Oh, Jim, nobody bangs a singles hitter.
I understand, but you don't see our basement chat assistants over there wanting to be the DHHs either.
Dama was a murderer in a home run competition. Guy would hit singles all weekend long, go out to a home run derby.
I'll tell you who'll be the DHH when she grows older is Addison Esposito, his daughter.
Oh, she's going
to be the one who's going to be thumping it. That's what I can tell you. That's going to be the best hitter in the house.
8 years old and 1 hop in the gate, cuz.
Yeah.
Guess who teaches her to hit?
Yeah, I hear you.
Winner.
All right, so let's take a look here. Challenge Cup, New Jersey. The wait is over. We're going to be announcing all these managers.
Get out your pens and pads. We don't have to ask 27 times. We'll give you a second or two. I rip spits a little fucking Copenhagen in the cup.
We're going to go in order of the weeks of the Challenge Cup.
Why wasn't I picked? Why wasn't I picked?
And we're announcing the coaches, okay? So before we announce the coaches, if you are sitting out there and you want to be part of the Challenge Cup, you can either reach out to the coach, you can send me an email, and I will forward it to the coach. So the teams are not selected, things are not finalized. We're just announcing the coaches. We're not announcing the players.
That's the coach's job to put the team together.
Coach puts team together. It's got to be a legal team. Blah blah blah.
Give
blah,
me
blah,
keys
blah.
to the car. You got to drive it.
Before I get 17 texts, okay, in a matter of
forget it. It's
5
coming.
seconds. What?
Save your breath. Why did I get to be the coach?
Yeah,
Because we didn't want you.
I understand, but the
How's
bat the bat phone is we're trying to save the juice there. Okay,
Right.
so Rip, let's tell the people for week 1 who's going to be coaching the New Jersey men's D teams. Let's start with the North team.
Well, for the North team, we're going to have Buck Showalter from the New York Mets.
Yeah.
And then the South team is going to be Robbie Thompson.
Sounds
From the
good.
Philadelphia Phillies.
Let's go with that.
And I hope everybody's okay with those two guys. We'll let them digest that for a minute, and then we'll go.
Show's over. Go watch it and sit show. We're done. See ya. It's been great.
We're going to have
All right.
Wayne Fasano from Vivoli, Rich Villacrest from Diamond Dynasty, and Leo Aceveda from Diamond Dynasty.
Yep, that's going to be the men's D North.
That's
Wayne,
North.
Leo, and Rich. Rip, talk to us about the New Jersey men's South managers.
Frank LaRocca and staff from Marlboro 1. And the CGE boys, Danny Millar and company from
All right.
right up here.
So
Top finishers.
So there you have it. You have
Don't cry about those selections because I don't want to hear them.
2 D teams. All right. So men's E, the team in the North, Rip. Go ahead.
So right now we have Adam Zimmer from Z Nation.
Yep.
And we're looking for someone to roll with Adam into the North faction of the program.
Correct. So if you're a coach in the men's E, we haven't heard from any of you.
From the North.
You know, we could
Middlesex
use
County and above.
we could
Figure
use
it out.
another coach there to pair with the Zim Dog.
Yeah.
And then Rip.
We get Rodney Monteleone out of retirement. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
That's an idea, Rip.
I know. I'm an idea man, Chuck.
Yeah. Maybe Bendel.
Name the
will
movie
play.
for 100.
Yeah. But you know, Bendel can't play E anymore, so he's not going to be able to.
Can't bend over either.
So men's E on the South Side, Rip. We have 3 very good managers. If you can line it up for these guys.
Yeah, we got Anthony from JVA, right? Nate Langston from South Jersey Outlaws, who had a really good showing.
Correct.
And then Scott McFadden from Family First, Second, Third.
Yeah, Clowney. He's going to be filling in for Gabe.
Clowney's got to get a haircut first. I'm going to put that out there right now.
You want me to make
It
that
looks
official?
terrible.
Dom,
I don't
text
know what he's doing. That is terrible.
Dom, text him. Tell him to get a haircut.
I mean, I ain't got no hair, so I shouldn't be talking, but it is terrible.
Yeah, we can work on that. Anthony from JVA is Anthony Meluendic.
I would have pronounced it, but I would have botched it, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, Anthony from JVA. I actually may have mispronounced it, but they had a great run at Worlds. Nate Langs had a great run at Worlds. So I think that team is going to be on the right track. Now, our PA East friends on the D side, Nick Rasmini, Jay Langs, and Joe Piggott. And then on the PA East
That's
side,
good coaches right there.
yeah.
Those guys, and I'll tell you one thing about Jay Langs is not going to pick up no shitty players.
No, Langs is a very underrated softball mind.
He probably has 65 guys written down. He's doing all the stats to figure out who he's taking.
Yeah,
They're going to come ready to roll.
Langs, anytime he's involved with a team, they typically do well. He's like the Earl Weaver, one of those guys in today's society. He's one of the managers that always has success. On the east side for PA, Chris Stern from Chimneys and possibly Dan Crowley from Hook Boys will be running those teams. So
Nice.
week 2, Rip, the Challenge Cup. We have men's and women's major those weeks. Still working on men's and women's major. Not sure if Mark will come in with a team, but if
It
so,
depends. There's not a lot of major, and this is not to slight anybody. There's not a lot of major players in the state of New Jersey. I think we're sitting on a rock solid 3.
right, and you have the option to pair with a border state. PA
Right.
probably has 2 or 3 as well.
Right.
So
So what do you do, right? Because you can't combine. People bitch, moan, and cry about combining multiple states when you're missing, and you don't have a lot of major players from that area. And this is one thing I disagree with. Right? If you're in Texas, there's probably 20 major players in Texas. Just
Right.
guessing, right? Florida probably has another 30 or 40 guys that can play major at that level. And then North Carolina is the same. Blah 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 blah. Georgia, you come up here, and it's kind of desolate.
well, we don't have the ability to play softball all year
I'm not talking
round.
about people who show up to play in it. I'm talking about legit major level talent.
Correct, and a lot of those guys are.
I mean, our pitcher would be Mooch, and he's 175 years old. Not
Mooch,
that, and Mooch can still get it done. I mean, you see what he did with Bay Area.
I know
You see it?
complaints. I mean, they were in the
Yeah.
finals at Double A. I mean, he was all
Yeah.
tournament Mooch.
Goddamn
You know what
right
I
he
mean?
was.
So,
Guy's 97 years old and still was like, come on, boys, hop on the back. I got you.
yeah, I mean, he was a little nicked up, and it affected them at the major.
Yeah.
But in the Double A, he was like the vintage Mooch.
Well, the whole
of
team
old.
was tired by the time they got to the
They
major.
played like
I mean,
1,000 games in the Double A, and then
They played 8 or 9 on Saturday, I think it was.
there they are in the major. But yeah, they had to pick up an emergency player or two just to have enough. So
Yeah, just to get the bags in the ball.
I mean, I know Mooch is watching the program tonight. He gave us a shout out earlier. He said him and Jags, the son, are
that's my
watching
man,
it all.
Jag. You got to see
Yeah.
his son, bro. He's great. Jags. We were hanging out over here at Doyle's poorhouse.
Yeah.
We weren't drinking. I was having Arnold
Wait.
Palmer. Jags was having whiskey, but we were having a good time over there.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so what do we got left? Week 2 in a men's C-Rip, we're gonna have.
Hold on, Mooch is texting me.
That's Mooch.
Yeah, he trumps you. Sorry.
We're gonna stop the show here for Mooch. What's he got?
I'm not going to repeat what he said here.
Please
I got no
don't.
filter, so I don't really care who likes it.
Please don't.
He said, I'm going to be 49. Tell them pussies to move up. Stop worrying about the bump list.
Mooch, I hear you. If you need us for the hit and sit show, one of these days, get called up. Just let us know.
So maybe we can get through the whole hour of it.
Yeah. So the men's C, Mr. McConnell and Mr. Force will be paired together.
Yes.
I'm sorry I stole your thunder and made that announcement.
No, you can make that announcement. I'm going to have a little talk with both of them if they better get more than no wins. Or one win.
So McConnell and Force and the men's C. Rip, you want to tell them about the women's C and women's D?
Yeah, Jim. You're going to coach both teams, I think, this year. We're going to spice it up a little bit. But for women's C, I'm going to cut you right now. Phone just came in. Jackie Hillier from Gems is going to run the women's C side of things for us. The women's D is going to be Jess Watt from Lady Cartel, Randy Farrell from Lady Cartel, and Trish Casaldi from Goonies, Jim.
That sounds good to me.
Very confident in what they're going to put together. That cue card's out of here, too.
Yeah, and Lady Cartel was the GSLD World
Lady
Champion.
Cartel is going to be a team, if it sticks together, is going to be a force in women's softball. If they can keep that team together, add a player or two, or just get more experience, they're going to be very, very good. And they're already starting to show signs of becoming very, very good.
Fair enough. And then, Rip, the third week, we don't have anybody going as of right now, which is the International Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
That's going to be the Black American / BSC division, as well as the Hispanic Cup and the Native American Challenge Cup. So if anybody's watching this program and is interested in any of those three, whether they're in New Jersey or not, please reach out to either myself or Clay Dickey or whoever the appropriate director is. I would love to see a Black American team form from New Jersey. It's been talked about a little bit, but we just haven't had a chance to put it all together. If you are out there and interested, please reach out to one of us.
Is there any restrictions with the Black American?
You can have up to
four black players. I hate saying that's black. It's terrible.
4 non, whether it's in the black or whether it's in the Hispanic.
Just call it the BSC division. We have to call it black. It's fucking terrible.
I
understand.
understand.
2022. It's the BSC division. I'm calling it the BSC division.
Listen, BSC.
Clay Dickey built it.
Yeah, and Nicole and Daryl and all those guys.
They deserve the right name for it.
What I can tell you is that'll be the exciting week of the tournament. I was privileged enough to be on Clay's staff last year.
I was there last year for the home run derby. It was awesome.
Clay.
My boy William Blue came out of the car, no joke. Guys, on a true story real quick. I don't care if you like it or not. William Blue was late for his spot in the home run derby, right? So he rolls up, comes in, completely out of I think it was a 4 or 5 hour car ride. Comes in and promptly just gets in the batter's box and starts dropping bombs and talking shit to Flip. It was the greatest thing ever. My man Blue, that was great.
Yeah, Blue won the home run derby, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
No one better out of the car.
Yeah, no, he
I think Paul Jackson won the home run derby.
Yeah. So here we go. Mr. Carucci is watching the program now. He wants us to clean his office when we're done.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. All right, so the week 4 of the Challenge Cup will be the...
He missed the shout out earlier.
Mixed... Yes, we did shout you out.
He was at our Juneau Wrestling Academy. By the way, if you got young kids that live down this area, you want to drive, whether it's 10 minutes or half an hour, you want to get in a really good wrestling academy, you may want to get your kids in there. They got some very good coaches over there for sure. And I don't know nothing about regular wrestling. I can tell you about WWE and shit like that, but not real wrestling. But I know the academy always got some really good kids in it, especially our younger kids that are going to be now eligible for tournament wrestling. They've got some special kids in that academy over there. Nice. Glad to hear it. John Hickey from Massachusetts is watching us, Rip. He said he's having some flashbacks to you double dipping him in the Tears days. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, there was a dude who could murder the ball, John Hickey. Yeah. He would hit it, you'd flinch. I can guarantee you that. And that was with shit bats. Yeah. You didn't have a lot of complaints about the Vietnam balls in those days. I mean, guys just stepped out. Guys actually had balls in their pants, Jim, as opposed to nowadays. And they just showed up and played who was ever at the tournament and didn't cry. Yes, sir. All right, so New Jersey teams for the Senior Challenge Cup, Rip. If you want to make those announcements, I'd love for you to do that. We're going to have, I believe, 3 senior teams. Who do you got first? We got the men's 35. We got the men's 50. What do you got there? So I got it all over the place. The men's 35 is Jamie Tyler from Pages People and Jerry McCreary from Ebola. McCreary, apologize. Yeah, and that 35 team was in the Final 3 last year. They'll be bringing back some of the same people with some pickups. I'm expecting big things from the 35 team. I like it.
Yep. What else we got, Rip?
Oh, you got the women's 40, right? You got Jess Williams and Jen Barletta, both who, well, Jess Williams was the coach of the over 40 women's fire stick team that played in the AAA division. And if you don't know, the group of ladies that were on that team, Jen Barletta, Bridget Esposito, Vicky Lamb, Lisa Pepin, I don't want to forget anybody here. There's 4 or 5 others.
Louise, Eric Lasher.
Louise was on there, Erica Lasher.
Mojo.
Anyway, long story, real short, sorry. Finished second in the USSSA Worlds out in Vegas in their first year coming together. I think they played 3 or 4 tournaments, and went out there and did an exceptional job, and now bumped to women's 40 major. But I think they'll be fine there as well. They got a real good group, and these two know the game very well. These two got a lot of experience, and I'm way confident in the team they'll put on the field.
Yeah, so the women's 40, good luck to them. You see, Rip, I'm repping my Garden State shirt tonight. Okay?
Yeah, Jim, I like the Challenge Cup spirit.
Challenge Cup stuff on the flag here. Yeah, I'm doing my best. And then, Rip, last but certainly not least, in terms of our senior teams, talk to me about the 50 team.
Will be coached by one of my favorite humans alive, Bruce Stallworth, and the service director for 35 years of Freehold Buick GMC, the badass,
Billy Martin.
Billy Martin.
Correct.
That team should have a ton of talent.
New Jersey's resident, D-Generation X there. The road dog Bruce Stallworth and the badass Billy Martin. Right?
That's it.
Those guys are. If you're not down with them, Rip, I got two
words
for it. In any case, the men's 50 guys, a number of talent on that team. You have Willie Allen, Mike Kalinowski, Monty Harris. Okay,
Bill Sampolsky.
The man sitting next to me, Mr. Sampolsky. Okay,
Dave DeSantis.
I know I missed somebody.
One of the best pure hitters ever, Tom Paterzo.
Thank you for not letting me forget Tom.
Kalinowski will be down there. He hits the shit out of it. Listen, the team's going to be one of the best defensive players I've seen play at that level, Joe Gerace.
Correct.
There as well. So you're going to tell me I'm having an infield with Joe Gerace and Willie Allen, and I'm going to say good luck.
There you go. Willie Allen covers half of the coast of New Jersey Shore there with the range he's got.
You ain't kidding. And you ought to see him hit it, too.
Yeah. Tim Keller says he's just here for the occasional wrestling reference. You know what I mean? So
why wouldn't you be?
Tim, since you're there 2 years up, you're coaching the Mixed D Challenge Cup team. Congratulations. With the possibility of merging with one of the other either Amy or Sean Keating or one of those guys, whoever is available. Rip, what else we got? Mixed C?
Mixed C.
Who do we got?
The Frenchman.
Oh, yes. Mr. Leboux.
Jean Leboux.
Mr. Leboux. Coaching the Mixed C.
From East Coast Toyota.
And Mixed D, we're going to send a team. I don't have a coach yet. If anybody's interested in the Mixed D.
I'm taking applications. You can email me at Jim's email.
Yeah, you can just send it to me, and I'll forward it to Rip, and good luck with him responding. So that will do it for the Challenge Cup coaches. I don't see too many. Marshall Grissom was asking in the chat how many Jersey teams won the Challenge Cup. Well, the mixed teams both won last year.
Well, the first year, the major team won the first year, right?
Depends who you ask.
Well, let's see. You beat Kentucky, and then it was 2 a.m. in the morning, and it was about 19 degrees. And I know why, because I was announcing.
New Jersey
killing it per usual.
Yes.
So I was there, and then that was also the same time when Mooch told somebody else they'd be cut in a heartbeat if they said another word to him. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen, bro.
Correct. And the women's D
Say another word, I'll have your ass cut right here.
The women's D team has won before, the Michelle team a few years ago. So
they did win. I was down there for that.
Yes, they did. All right, so that covers most of what we have. We still have some time left. And we are now going to open it up to questions. So
we'll interrupt this broadcast while I take a sip of the best iced tea ever made, Arnold Palmer.
That's right. And that leads us into one of our questions from Laser Dave, who wants to know. Laser wants to know.
What the fuck does that company not sponsor me? Seriously,
how much iced tea is too much iced tea?
Point taken. Laser, if you're drinking a little Arizona Arnold Palmer half and halfy, there's no such thing as too much. You know what I mean?
There you go, Laser. Good luck this weekend up in the Wisconsin indoor, ball or whatever it is.
Sponsorship. I mean, it's ridiculous. I keep promoting this shit. Nobody's helping between them and Copenhagen. I'm dying over here.
Interesting. All right, so if you're watching live, okay, you can put questions in the chat, and we may or may not answer them, but we're going to go with some of the questions that were sent in ahead of time. So my first question comes from Marshall Grissom. Rip, he wants to know what you think of the new umpire uniforms.
So here's what I think. I want to take a look at the material because I think it blocked some of you from seeing some calls. Not picking on anybody in particular. Maybe a Chiefs fan. But, listen, I mean, what's not to like about them? I'm not wearing them. You know what I mean? They don't pay enough for me to get me to umpire.
So I haven't seen, they haven't had the gray out yet, but the colors are going to be black, red, and gray, which I think is an upgrade from the white. I personally think the white gets too dirty when you're out there trying to umpire a number of games in a row.
I think we should have Mother Day uniforms for the Mother Day tournament. We should get pink shirts done immediately.
We do have pink.
Let's get some baby blues for the Father's Day. Right, if we have a tournament that weekend. I think gray's just a blasé color. I don't know. I'm not into it. I like the traditional black and red.
Fair enough. Now, we had our umpires in gray for the GSL in Maryland, and they look great, in my opinion. Carol Holland did a nice job.
What we should bring back from that was the old shorts they used to wear back in the day. The mid-thigh highs. Right. Could you imagine Slim out there? Oh, good Lord. What a pair of 1980 coaches shorts on. Holy shit, would I be crying.
Now, Slim was out playing the other night. Slim was out playing the other night in Cincinnati. I got pictures.
Was he playing craps?
He was playing co-ed.
Bullshit.
He was playing co-ed with Nikki and her son.
I can guarantee you Slim's a lot like me. Got the first base, was like, runner.
Yeah. Somebody's asking, what's up with the umpires being hungry at 11:45 at night? Do you understand that?
No idea.
Okay, pass.
Hopefully they weren't eating that stadium food that's overpriced. I'll say it again. For everybody's not paying attention. Eat before you show up, before your pockets get robbed.
Unless it's breakfast time, because breakfast taco is exceptional.
Yeah, right.
All right, Mary Ellen Metternach wants to know, Rip, do you think that KTL should return at Winter World?
Should they return or are they returning?
KTL is a women's B team.
Should they return? Yeah, they had a good team, but I mean, listen, they lost their pitcher in pregnancy.
Right.
Big congratulations to Allie, by the way.
And Joe.
Well, yeah. Not really so much Joe. He really didn't do anything. He did 2 minutes of work.
Yeah, if that.
Allie did all the hard work.
Yeah.
Now, normal in that relationship, by the way.
Something like that. So, but Miss Coriel will be back, or Mrs. Picone will be back now, so they may.
Mrs. Picone.
That may solve the whole problem there. So.
Yeah, no, I think they should come back now. Whether or not, listen, what level to be at depends on who was on the roster, obviously, right?
Correct. So
sorry.
They're looking at
B.
Jess Williams is asking you, Rip, if the shipment of suspenders ever came in.
That's an inside joke. We're going to look at those, though, for some people. You know, we know who we're talking about, Jess.
Yeah, probably me.
No, not you.
Not you. Suspenders.
Not Jim. This is the one joke that's not about you.
Fair enough. Junior Smith, son of Senior Smith.
Yeah.
He wants to know if next year it will only be China balls.
Yeah, all balls will be from the Far East.
Yeah.
Now, whether the soft balls, a little harder balls, that remains to be seen.
Fair enough. The Vietnam balls will not be for sale, that I can tell you. Matt Coffin, who's been in the chat here, pumping up Paint Doctor, he wants to know if 220 bats are being banned. Matt, what I can tell you is that you're not able to swing 220s at the B Worlds playing for Paint Doctor because we are using...
some Junos while you can?
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in Junos, get with Rip. But you need to swing 240s if you're playing B or higher.
Listen, personally, I think that if you get the right balls, right, obviously it's going to be what everybody's going to cry about now. That'll be the next thing everybody cries about all year next year is balls, 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 balls. I think the game should go 240 across the board in all tournament play. Period. End of story.
And it may. I just don't have the answer for you.
Listen, I understand that. I'm just saying what I advocate. If you watch enough softball, you can tell you that for watching the best players in the world are swinging 240 bats, arguably, right? So you get down to these 220 bats, and because of the amount of teams there is, you can't literally test every team's bats at all the worlds. Agreed?
Fair.
Okay. So let's say there's 130 teams, 10 bats per team. Do the fast math for me, Jim. 1,300 bats. Right. Good. I'll bet you 60% of them are under 220, testing under 220. 100%. At least that's the number. So how do you make the game safer, right? Because if you're telling me the elite players require these bats to be 240, the guy who's playing entry-level softball, because E stands for entry, okay, whether it's rear or front's irrelevant, they should not be using those bats. It's too much bat for the game. You're a beginner. So what's the holdup? What's the hang-up? Your pride? Is that what it is?
It's been a long time for me, Ripper. I haven't played ball.
I'm just saying. You can ask your brother. I'm just saying it's too much bat for the game for tournament ball.
Well, we'll have to see.
I watch it. I've seen it.
We have our national convention.
I pay my money to USSSA Live.com.
I understand.
And I try stomaching some of that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
Not a lot of people are catching the balls going through the infield.
So let's see what else we got on the question.
Never mind the pitchers playing hide and go seek.
Ripper, we have from Ryan Mulhern. He's giving us a scenario: TCU +7, Texas -6. He likes the Horned Frogs to cover. He asked Rip, "Do you break it down?"
I'm going to be honest with you. I think TCU is probably one of the top 4 teams in the country. I do. I think Ohio State's, and I know there's a lot of Ohio people that they think Ohio State's the best thing since sliced bread.
Like Laser Dave, he's an Ohio State fan.
I don't know. I don't think Laser Dave's Ohio. Well, you don't have a choice in that house. He's going to be all blue now. I'll tell you that right now. Or he's going to be black and blue.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm taking TCU.
Okay. Let Mulhern
I think they're one of the top 4 teams in the country, man.
He can put his bets in.
Now, because I said that, they're going to lose by 30.
We have a question from DW, Dale Weiser. He wants to know if there was a championship parade held here locally for MPT here in New Jersey.
There wasn't a championship parade, but the mayor did give Mark Carucci the key to the city.
Interesting.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if the key works, but he gave it to him.
That's funny, yeah. DW does a nice job, promoting the upper game.
He doesn't do a nice job promoting the upper game.
He does a great
There's
job.
nobody who's done a better job since the late Gordy, who originally owned the Old Scout. Amazing job by DW, week in, week out, for a thankless job and taking all kinds of banter and bullshit that he shouldn't have to put up with on a regular basis, nearly daily or hourly at this point. Like everything in the world's his fault when it's really not. He's in charge of the media.
Yeah.
Him and Bernie, right? He works in the media department, doesn't work in the I make the decision department.
We have some interesting stuff going on in the chat here. Okay. Jojo Bennett wants to say hello to you. He says you're his dude.
That is my man, 50 grand, cuz.
Yeah.
Backwoods!
That's right. And we have Mark Carucci saying that it's a key to the bathroom instead of the key to the city.
Shitter's full.
So, yeah, something like that. All right, so Tim Yamashita, who's our Utah director, he's asking me, and I'm not sure why he's asking me this, what are the qualifications for teams to go to the world events?
Pay your entry fee.
So
it used to be back in the day you had to win something to get there. That would be awesome to see them do that again. But, I mean, obviously, you're talking about the monetary investment into what is arguably the best facility in the world to play softball at.
Yeah, I mean,
and that investment is tremendous. Let's be honest with each other, right?
It's the preeminent facility for diamond sports in all of America. That's the way I describe it in my magazine.
You know what I mean?
So I can tell you here, Tim, that you need to play a state tournament if the one is held. You need to play 2 other qualifiers in this state or others.
Wink, wink. Depends who you blow.
Depends on what the program is all about. I mean, if you have a team from North Dakota and they don't have a program, then they'll probably be able to go. But we did say no to some teams this year, so we do.
I can tell you didn't say no from Florida. Those teams seem to wind up 2 weeks, put together 2 weeks before the tournament. Okay.
Florida's tougher where they play year round. So some teams qualify in January, February, and then it's a different
tougher for Florida.
It's a different environment. Sarah,
I think let's make it a rule. How about that? If you don't participate in a state tournament, stay home.
One has to be held.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So who's the state director? Hey Frank, you're the state director, and Oshkosh, my gosh, hold a state tournament. Your teams can't go.
Yep.
Well, I don't know when to hold it. Well, that's not my problem. You're the state director. Figure it out. Or if you can't, know what we'll do? Find a new state director.
Yeah.
Great.
Fair
Just over here solving problems, folks. One day at a time, one question at a time.
Rip, Greg Blevins is asking what new Juno bats are we looking at for 2023?
I can't tell nobody. It's a secret. It's a secret.
The final chapter?
Yeah. No. That's
no.
Flip's bat will be coming back out. You have the mainline bats, which will be the MR1 12.5-inch 2-piece.
Yeah.
You have the MR3, which is a 12.5-inch 1-piece.
I think Allie Hazard's her own bat. She's great. Just like to work around here.
She does a tremendous job here.
She should have her own bat.
Should she?
I would buy it.
Fair enough.
Yes, the Hazard.
All right, I'll send you the bill.
Yes, do that.
Fair enough. We'll have the Ryan Harvey bats back, the 13.5-inch 2-piece and the 13.5-inch 1-piece bat. The 12-inch bat will surprise people in a little while what bat that's going to be. And then you'll have a senior bat 2-piece, which is the fine wine. And then I believe we're going to have a 1-piece senior bat coming out, which will be the cognac is what the name of the bat's going to be. Actually.
Sampolsky's asking for a 24-ounce fine wine. Jason Stages is asking for Pacific hats. And Junior Ramos wants to know when the MR3s are back in stock.
The 2023 MR3s, I would say first week in January if I was gambling.
Just in time for the Challenge Cup.
Yes.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
As far as the Pacific hats, I'm a Richardson guy, Jay. You know that. They fit your big dome.
So we just have
And a no and a 24-ounce bats.
Okay. Billy, you're out of luck, buddy. You can't even bring donuts and get 24-ounce bats. I mean, what's the world coming to?
He'll be fine with a 25-ounce bounce.
Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get them all dialed in.
Billy will be swinging fine wine next year.
And John Hickey thanks Juno for sponsoring the Andy Beloli Memorial this summer, which is
absolutely.
Yeah. We had a Juno tournament last week.
That's a real good family. He's been around the game forever. The Beloli family, I'll tell you that much. First Andy, now his son as well.
Keith, yeah.
Keith, yeah. But, I mean, they do a tremendous amount as far as sponsorship in the game of softball for the whole Northeast above us. You know, that whole real Northeast area.
Yes, the actual Northeast.
The true Northeast.
The John Brandt and John Hickey Northeast. Right.
Yeah.
And then let's see what else we got. Willie Allen says the fine wine is sick. You know, Willie's a fan of the fine wine. Sarah Allen had a question. What will change next year across the board, bats and balls?
I think you're going to have, excuse me for stepping on your toes.
Okay.
I think as far as the balls go, I think you're going to have the, we'll say the brass, like USSSA, have some serious conversations to find out more consistency from the manufacturer. I know that they were not pleased. I mean, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to figure that out, right? So what else will change? I mean, I'm sure they'll be tightening up the 240 compliance and stuff like that, as there's some bats, you know, from multiple manufacturers that fell a little bit out of compliance, which is irrelevant. I think if we make everybody by the same standard, again, to beat a dead horse, it would change a lot of things.
Fair enough, Ripper. And I don't have any other questions left, other than Joe Hafner had a question, wanted to know how many players on dogs will be appealed.
Appealed to what?
I'm not sure. That was just the question. He wants to know how many players on dogs are going to be appealed. Zero. Yeah, zero. That's the answer, 0. We will see, like I said, if players have questions on appeal process, they can email. Be glad to answer any emails. January 1st through January 31st, log into your player account. Also, the schedule for next year will be out.
Send an email to yourself, because that's how it's coming back.
Sometime closer to the holidays. We don't plan on making a lot of schedule changes. The Winter Worlds are coming up in Myrtle. You can get with myself, Johnny Blizzard, or Scott Dooley. Those are the first 2 weeks in January at Grand Park, which is an amazing complex. Challenge Cup.
Returfed.
Yes. Well, 3 of the fields returfed, and then another 2 will be returfed this February. So they're in the process of returfing it. We'll have our conference event there. We have some other questions. It's Men's CD Challenge Cup. I'll send you, John, the information. It's the 3rd week in January. Mark is asking about having a tournament at Diamond Nation. I don't think that's in the cards for us.
No, they've upped the team fee. I would have to charge $500 a team to play there.
Yeah, we're just not going to be able to, unfortunately. And, you know, it's one of those things where if we took better care of it, you know, took better care of it.
They ruined it, Jim. Say it.
You know, you know, just like the indoor. I mean, people are asking about, will we have indoor in
Lawrenceville?
And you can thank certain individuals for helping ruin that. And you know, you can ask Augie, who is certainly not the problem. I mean, Augie and I are cleaning up banana peels and Gatorade bottles and this and that, and it's you have to take care of these facilities. You're going to lose them. So you know, Diamond Nation, indoor, and this and that. It's just adult slow pitches is not desirable when you have the kids in there. You know, spending more money and taking much better care of the place.
Yeah, that's the real part. It's not desirable. They're not going to give you the nights when you can't properly respect what you have.
I begged the softball community, literally got down on my knees and begged them to take better care of the indoor in Lawrenceville, and didn't do it. So, you know, unfortunately,
great job.
A few messed it up for the many. And as far as Diamond Nation, I'm not sure if it's the players that messed it up or just that they, you know, there's just not enough profit coming in to.
I'll guarantee it was a combination platter. How's that sound?
Shouldn't have to satisfy, you know, them with $500 a team. I would love to be there, guys, but unfortunately, it's not the case. We will have some cold weather tournaments up in North Bergen, New Jersey. So if you're interested in playing, in North Bergen, we will have cold weather tournaments on turf. So we're almost done. If anybody has any other questions, put them in the chat. We're getting ready to wind down here. Rip, is there anything that we forgot? Anything we want to talk about with the softball community in general?
No, listen, congratulations to all teams that finished really well in the respective worlds. Hell of a job. The Northeast, again, came back with some very good finishes. Hats off to the MPT faction for winning the best of the best showdown.
MPT winning, and Mr. Cooper and the Derby girls and Mandy and all them. Great job. Looking forward to see what Stroh and Clay and the rest of the group come up with next year on the conference side. And Rip, I think that's just about it. I think we're going to have to say goodbye to everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back at some point. Who knows when.
Happy trails. See you guys around the holidays. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.